Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I think all of us are sitting at different parts of the world. This is a very unique experience. All of us have been planning this workshop quite differently. So, this is just a general introduction to what we were planning to do at the conference, PDW. Our idea today is to give you a general introduction to what we were thinking. Reimagining business education, especially MBA curriculum, in the new reality of Career 4.0. Career 4.0 has been, that state has become inevitable in the sense that industrial evolution has been moving in that direction. We will briefly see what happened in the last 200 plus years with respect to how industry and careers have evolved. Let's start with a simple question. The question seems simple and straightforward, but it has profound impact. The answer could have profound impact on how careers in general would change. What a medical doctor can do, which machines can't. Look at my Fitbit smartwatch, very ordinary one. This device knows about me, and the algorithm can make sense of what is going on with my body way better than a typical doctor's office visit of say 20 minutes. You typically go to a doctor. I'm not talking about very complex situations where it needs quite cognitively complex uh, processes and diagnosis, but typical doctor's visits, most probably 95 plus percentage of the time, we go to a doctor for, doctor would spend, look at your eyes, look at your throat, and kind of hear your chest, your heartbeat. Less than 20 minutes, you're out. But this device would know a lot more about you, your heart rate, your sleeping pattern, your exercise pattern, and smart algorithms can calculate your lung capacity and so on. So actually, the answer, what medical doctor can do which machines can't do, not that much. So most of what a typical medical doctor can do, machines can also do. Then the question is, what is stopping medical profession from going through a disruptive change? The answer is very simple. Our regulatory regime is actually not catching up with technological advances. That means we as a society and our lawmakers are not uh, up to date with uh, updating and refining and advancing and innovating our regulatory framework. That is stopping from this profession, disruptively changing. One simple but very important message for all educators and administrators is this: nature of jobs are definitely changing. It is only a question of when, not about if. It is definitely changing. This lower left hand corner, that crowded robotic production facility of Toyota near Nagoya in Japan. I had the fortune of visiting this place. I visited this place 2 years back and also about 28 years ago. So I had the fortune of standing at the same place above this and looking at this facility. That at that time, 28 years ago, there were no robots. This time, it's kind of, it's a crowded room with robots. When it's crowded with people, you will have a lot of coordination issues. If it is crowded with robots controlled by smart algorithms, it can do a fantastic job. This is what is happening, and why and how it is happening. It's happening because we can start looking at what happened about 200 some years ago with steam power, then the invention of electricity, automation, and today we are talking about intelligence revolution. Steam power practically replaced a lot of jobs needing power and speed. Electricity and automation combined replace many jobs requiring repetition and precision. And current AI, big data, Internet of Things revolution is replacing jobs needing abstracting simple rules and patterns from large set of data. So, what kind of jobs would stay? Of course, this is not happening tomorrow, but we don't know whether it's going to happen in 5 years, 10 years, but it's definitely changing. So, the type of jobs which are going to be there are cognitively complex, culturally sensitive, morally sensitive. Those decisions are definitely going to be made by human, not by computers. Almost everything else is going to change, and the role of machines are going to increase. It's a 2018 actual data and 2022 a prediction. You can see the dark uh, blue is where people are doing the job, and the light blue is machines are doing. So that part of 2022, the part of machine doing the job is increasing for every area of work. That is the trend. So reimagining our MBA curriculum for Career 4.0. There are multiple forces shaping. I did not include all of them uh, for the sake of clarity, and you know uh, considering what we could do in a typical PTW. We have kept uh, three major forces. Of course, you saw how Industry 4.0 is changing. The new advances in AI and cognitive science is changing industry and careers, and definitely business education should catch up with that to train graduates who are adapted, creating value under those circumstances. Of course, the sustainability agenda and the SDGs, Sustainability Development Goals, those are going to seriously influence the way we educate our graduates. And finally, advances in many different disciplinary areas, and especially we thought these four areas have advanced quite a bit in the last 25, 30 years. And interestingly, some of it has not come into our curriculum. Artificial intelligence, it has come into our MBA curriculum. Cognitive science, not that much. Cognitive science could have a lot of influence in the way we teach OB, strategy, maybe operations management. It's slowly dripping in, but very little influence. Same way, behavioral economics, that can influence the way we teach. OB, strategy, finance, it has very little influence today, but that could have a major role. And of course, evolutionary psychology, that can influence both organizational behavior, learning about organizational behavior, and also strategy making. So these are the three major forces going to shape MBA education of the future. So, the key questions here are: what are the new careers afforded by Industry 4.0? We were planning, during the workshop, we were planning to have table groups and have engaging discussions around these questions. What additional content should be included in our MBA curriculum to meet the knowledge demand of Industry 4.0? And what are the potential pedagogical innovations possible needed to meet the market demand? We don't know all the answers, but we thought we would have an interesting discussion during the PTW. Evolution and future of business education. I'm sorry, the the font is a bit small. Basically, we will have to look at these forces and think about what way these forces are going to influence both content and pedagogy. Here is also a summary of uh, uh, we call business education one, started with paper and pencil. Mainly we taught practice based kind of trade school kind of approach. Business education two is more computer enabled, evidence based, more scholarly. Teaching has started, but then the focus has shifted. Of course, the evidence based remained the same, but business education three is more about entrepreneurship and innovation. And today we are talking about business education 4.0. There the most important aspects are, it's kind of a uberized, digitized um, business school where we create uh, versatile platforms to make sure that the logistics of interaction among various stakeholders of the school becomes seamless. So that's the idea. Plus uh, incorporating advances in new science and newfound interest in or the passion for developing a curriculum which would help with the United Nations sustainability agenda. We all have our own constraints. Every business school, some of us have financial constraints, faculty constraints. My major challenge back in India is interestingly less of financial constraint, more of faculty resources, being able to recruit the right faculty. Even more uh, challenging is being able to recruit good professional staff to make everything happen. So the idea we always think about is futurize, legalize, and uberize. Futurize is, of course, that word self explanatory. You dream and you define and lead, and you kind of start thinking about implementing interesting ideas in a modular format. And also you can do kind of take out things and reconfigure and redo it. And so modularize, reconfigure, and redesign approach. And finally, multiple things you kind of stitch together, and we call uberizing the business school. Anything and everything, if you can optimize, and if you can capture it and create a digitize and create a software, you must do it. So refine, optimize, and automate, that is uberizing. And this cycle of futurizing, legalizing, and uberizing should continue. When it comes to when it comes to content, we talked about evolutionary psychology, cognitive science, behavioral economics, artificial intelligence, and data science. And also we have identified several important skill dimensions. We call them as the mindset: social, entrepreneurial, and transformational mindset, design thinking mindset, physical science mindset, sustainability mindset, and consultative problem solving mindset. And our approach was to start thinking about what kinds of inter-transdisciplinary workshops and uh, learning opportunities we can create for students. Sustainability in practice, something we are right now trying back at our business school. Um, Making sure that every student is part of a group doing a real life sustainability project. Also, whenever there are possibilities, introduce some liberal arts and science content into business education. Of course, data science, ideas of industry 4.0, internet of things, artificial intelligence, evolutionary and cognitive psychology, behavioral economics workshops, cognitive science workshops, transformation leadership, design thinking, consultative problem solving, and problem framing is also a very, very important idea. Finally, we have also tried a course called material science for managers, you must be wondering why suddenly this. If you look at where our graduates are going to be employed, even today, not only in the future, even today, probably 80-90% of all our graduates are going to be employed in high tech industries, but they have very little understanding of the physical environment of the world. They have a deeper understanding of the socio-economic, cultural, and political environment of the business, but not the physical environment. So they have very little understanding of uh, uh, any concept to make sense of the technological world. We thought teaching material science is not to teach material science. Material science and biomimicry, now we moved kind of bit away from material science, but more into biomimicry, using biomimicry uh, to help them understand basic ideas of physics and chemistry. We don't want to teach them physics and chemistry to make sense of the physical world, but we want to help them understand those basic concepts which are very useful for managers through biomimicry. We have introduced a course called material science for managers. Thank you. We would have had a different kind of presentation and different kind of interaction and engagement with all of you, considering our current situation. So we thought at least we should give um, some idea about what we were thinking. Thank you very much, and hope to see all of you next year. Thank you.